Frank Morrison's live stream. I hope everyone is well. I hope your week has started off well. I utilize the live stream portion of YouTube to talk about what I went through with alcohol and what it did to my life and where I'm at now, which is 100% clarity. It's one of my favorite things to say. And in my hopes are that there's those out there that are looking for help, inspiration from a regular guy who went through a terrible time and is now just doing wonderfully. And I'm very proud of that. Maybe you have a loved one that is in need of help and you're watching this for that person. Good for you. And if it's for you, good for you to start looking for that path to clarity. It's well worth it. Let me throw in my disclaimer, which is that I am not a doctor. I have no medical degree. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I am not a neurologist. I'm just, as I said just a bit ago, a regular guy who's recovered from the evils of alcohol. And I invite you to watch the video I used to kick off my YouTube channel. The very first one is about me telling my story of how I quit, the things I went through. It's long, you can break it up, do 20 minutes, come back whenever, but I would love for you to watch that because it is off the cuff and I did the best I could do to tell you what I went through. Speaking of YouTube channel, I am up to 253 subscribers. Thank you for those who have done that or have subscribed, liked, commented on my channel, whether it's these live streams or any of the videos that I've done, which there's quite a bit. And I have to tell you, I would not be able to have the courage to start this and maintain this YouTube channel if I didn't have the clarity that I have. I'm very proud of that. I love doing this YouTube and I will continue. I will continue to talk about my life after 50. Each week I started what I called a Frank's Weekly 5. This week I'm doing it a little bit different. And I'm going Frank's favorite weekly 5. These are the favorites that I've mentioned on my wonderful, yes, cheesy dry erase board. I'm totally okay with that. Number 1, trying to really understand the long-term effects daily heavy drinking has had on you. Do some research on that. There's plenty of it online, and there's plenty of other people talking about what alcohol can or has done to you on YouTube. You really need to get a grasp on that because you're destroying yourself. And when I talk about these on these live streams, it's important that I state this also. Not everyone that drinks has a drinking problem. When I talk about this on my live streams, it's about those, I was there, drinking daily and heavily to the point where things start to happen to you. I have plenty of friends that drink. I don't consider them to have a problem because they were able to handle their or have limits. It got to the point where I didn't have limits, and theirs were, I used the word evils because I allowed it to take control of my life. So I just want to be clear that I don't think that everyone has a drinking problem. I don't dislike how do I want to say this? The industry, I don't think that the industry is evil. It's been around forever. This is specifically about having a major problem. So getting back to number one, it's a lot of things, from your internal organs to just your exterior, your skin, your complexion, how it ages you on the outside. The inside is much, much worse. And again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not gonna get into specifics, other than to mention you're just breaking down your whole body. And yes, I can mention liver because that's kind of a no-brainer, but it's much, much more than that. And these things can lead to cancer. And don't you want to live your best life? Don't you want to live as long as you possibly can? Well, when I was drinking that heavily, none of that ever crossed my mind because it was too important to have that next drink. These things don't even cross my mind anymore. I've mentioned this in a couple of other live streams. I'll mention it again. I can go to the grocery store, walk right past it. Doesn't even cross my mind. I can go to restaurants with friends, go to bars with friends that drink, and it doesn't cross my mind because I have total control over myself. I have total clarity, and that clarity allows me to make the right decisions. And I love where I'm at in life, and I'm going to live the longest life I can possibly live. Number two of one of my favorites. Have courage, not fear. Have courage, not fear. Have confidence, not helplessness. Courage, the courage, well, you have it right now if you're watching this, because you've taken at least a couple of steps of courage to watch someone talk about this. And please open yourself up to the others that talk about this as well, because everyone has a different opinion or a different view of either what they went through or what the doctors would tell you on YouTube. So you have the courage because you're watching me. And if this is your first video, then let this courage grow and not fear. The fear is there because the alcohol is controlling you. The fear is there because the alcohol is controlling you. It's not letting you. It's like it's your enemy. It doesn't want you to. Your confidence is so important. And it's going to be even more important when you finally quit. But you're going to see the confidence go through the roof. And you're not going to feel helplessness. Helplessness is a dark, dark place. You don't want that. Number 3. I love this one. Surround yourself with believers. Why do I love this one? I'll say it again. Surround yourself around believers. Now, in a number of the live streams that I've had in the past, I have mentioned if you've gone as deep as I did, you cannot do this on your own. It's dangerous. Just trust me. Believe me, it is dangerous. You're going to need some help. But the believers that I'm referring to are folks you trust that are going to be there with you when you start this path and when you are full of clarity. You've gotten through the whole stages of quitting drinking. Those folks are going to be there for you. But you want to surround yourself around those believers. And you want to let them know that you're relying on them to help you through this. That's true love. That's true friendship. And you need that. Could be your husband, could be your wife, could be your parents. It's whoever it is. It's your best friends. It's your friends. It's the people that you can trust to be your believers. Find those. Number 4, looking forward to independence and saying goodbye to dependence. Looking forward to independence, you can do anything. You can believe you can do anything. And you can do anything. Because the dependence of the alcohol will be gone. And it's going to allow you to have all the independence that you used to have before you got in this situation. And trust me, maybe you don't think about that at the moment, but when you've broken through and you have quit drinking, the independence is such an amazing thing. It truly is. You know, I try to talk about one specific thing with each video, with each live stream that I went through in my first video. And I've covered a lot of them. I'm going to go back to the moment where I talk about I was in the facility and we had a common room. And in this common room, it's exactly that. We were able to all hang out, watch some TV, or whatever. There's not a whole lot to do. You can't have your phones. There's no electronics other than watching TV. But it was a way to converse with others that were going through the same thing that you were going through. And some were in way, way worse shape than I was. And that's exactly what this is about. This particular person's name was John, and I saw him day after day in the common room, and let me tell you something. I had just talked about what the effects that alcohol does to you or has on you, your skin, your complexion, your internals. Well, this gentleman, John, was in his 50s, and he looked like, I believe he was in his 50s. He looked like he was in his 80s. He was true leather. This gentleman had drank moonshine his whole life. He just grew up with it. It was in their world. And John was just in bad shape, and it was just so sad to see him in this stage, in this facility. It was just so sad. And I was sitting next to John, and John had a little bit of a routine, but I asked the nurse, I said, how long has John been here? And she basically skirted around and answered it differently and said, John will never leave this facility. He can't. We're maintaining the rest of his life for him because that's the only way he's going to survive. I had mentioned that John had a routine. John was so far gone that he was hallucinating constantly throughout the whole day. And I literally watched, this took about 2 minutes, where John would shake and shake but he was trying to get himself to do something. And if I reach down right now, you won't see what I'm doing, so I'll just explain what was happening. He was shaking, but he was reaching down to grab a jug, an old school jug of moonshine. There was nothing there. His hallucinations literally led him to believe that he was reaching down to the floor, grabbed his jug, brought it up to his mouth, nothing there, but was drinking, showing his throat moving. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, this is a rare case, but this is the evils of alcohol. It has taken his entire life. Entire life. He thought a cigarette was in his shirt pocket. He'd reach down, get in there, bring it up to his mouth. He'd pretend he's lighting it up. You believe that? It's just sad. But that's what alcohol can do. It can just rule your life. I don't think that you're in that shape. In fact, there's no question you're not in that shape. You wouldn't be able to even watch this right now. That's pretty extreme, yes, but gotta point it out because it can go that far, and I witnessed it. Thankfully, I am now into my 10th year of not drinking any alcohol, and I feel wonderful about that. And I'm here just to show you, or if you're watching it for someone else, to show how well someone can come out of it. And I'll say it again, I'm very proud of that. Now I am gonna mention, this has been a weekly live stream. It's been a blast doing this, believe it or not. I've enjoyed it. And I hope that there will be many, many people that will come across these live streams in the future because they will just post as normal videos. But I'm gonna take a step back and I'm gonna do these once a month from now on. I'm not gonna do them weekly. If this is your first one, I invite you to, again, watch my first video of starting my YouTube channel, and then the other 12 live streams. I talk a little bit differently, and I use the dry erase board, and I point out different things that might help trigger something. And I invite you to leave a comment on any of those, leave a comment on this one after it posts. I always check my comments as I'm monitoring my YouTube channel daily, so I will never ignore anyone who writes a comment to me, whether it's negative or positive. And sadly, there are people out there that are willing to leave negative comments. If that makes you feel better, go ahead. I've got my clarity. Not gonna hurt my feelings. At the end of each video, I also mention this wonderful quote. This is my quote that I've been able to put on t-shirts, and these shirts are available on redbubble.com under FJM Art, or just go on the Redbubble website and type in, "Make today your best day ever until tomorrow." I love that quote. This was said to me by an amazing gentleman who used to deliver packages to our home. And each day that he delivered, he'd reach out his door. "Frank, I hope today is your best day ever. Till tomorrow." And drive off. And that has stuck with me. And that was a good 20 years ago. And I am now sharing this wonderful quote with all of you. I'd love for you to support me there. That's redbubble.com. There's a few different versions, different styles. I'll leave you with this. And thanks so much for watching or watching in the future. I will again be going to doing this monthly, and I want you to make today your best day ever until tomorrow. And please continue looking towards that path of clarity. It's a wonderful place. Take care.